Ladies and gentlemen, this is Why Am I Nerd, presents Alpha Beta Gold Games, episode 7. I'm Cameron James, and always with me from the beginning, none other than just Matt.
What's up?
Bit of a change up this week, so our other hosts, one's away and the other one is sick from food poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, violently ill apparently.
Yeah, but change up the script a little bit, and next time he's on, which is Jason we're referencing, he will give us a Witcher Watch update, because he has finally attempted to play The Witcher after he shocked the world last week by saying he was not a fan.
Yeah, well, you did say he's like 15 hours in, so I mean that's impressive. I mean, I wouldn't put 15 hours into a game and keep playing it if I didn't like it. So
yeah, I heard, they were talking about that today. Or I was listening to the Game Scoop podcast. They were talking about that, and someone lives. This guy wrote to him and said he lived like in the middle of the woods, and his only source of power is a battery thing, and he only has a Switch, and he bought 60 games on the Switch and has 30 games left to play, and he said he wasn't going to buy another Switch game until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. And they said you're out of your mind, because why would you ever want to play a game and then it suck and force yourself to play it? I was like, that makes sense. I've done that. I've probably once or twice that I was like, God, this is fucking awful, but I'm already
especially
here.
that many games. Yeah, especially that many games. That would just be awful.
I mean, what do you even have? Like, you'd have to assume it's some like must be.
Well, he's probably got a lot of big titles, and then he's maybe got some like 30? Digital ones. Yeah, I mean, you forget the Switch has been out for almost 4 years. No, it's been almost 4. So they're halfway into the standard lifetime of a console. I mean, Nintendo's probably already working on their next one.
I was just about to say, what do you think's next?
I mean, I feel like it's probably going to be, I don't know, at this point, it could just be something similar to what they've got now, just, improving on this current, kind of thing. I mean, if every single time a console comes out, you just have to have something that's just never been done before, I feel like that's just a little, I don't know, kind of crazy. I mean, if they're like, no, we have to have some console and it's just a fucking piece of paper that's a screen and it does everything with a camera or something crazy. Like, it's just, I don't know. I mean, they hit it out of the park with the Wii. They had a blunder with the Wii U because they had poor marketing and it really wasn't that much different than the Wii. And then they got the Switch. And I think the Switch is what the Wii U probably was trying to be, and then they perfected it. So if they do something that's totally new, it's going to just be, I don't know. That's why I don't want them to do anything new. I'd rather them just keep like bumping up the specs on the Switch and just keep releasing like Switch 2, maybe like a slightly bigger screen, more improved hardware, better motion controls, that stuff. Like,
So you're saying you think they got to stick with the handheld idea?
I think so, because this kind of bridges their two worlds, because when you think about it, Nintendo's always been big on, they got a home console and then they got a portable. This is the perfect combination of the two. It goes either way. And then you don't have to worry about designing games for two separate things. You're designing games for one thing that can be done either way. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm curious to know what they'll end up, like you said, kind of doing, because I could see them trying to pull off some weird stunt where they try to make the screen all touchpad-ish and not have any sort of Joy-Cons or controller. And I don't think that's the way to go.
I don't know how that'll work. No.
I remember when, I know when Apple started putting out like decent games on the iPad, like your finger would like cover some of the screen. It just like didn't. It was just kind of strange.
I've tried to play games on my iPhone before, like where they like, the one that always comes to mind is when they re-released Chrono Trigger for the first time, and they were like, yeah, it's on the iPhone now and you can play it. The like you're like holding on to the screen, and then it's like your controls is like a virtual stick, but it's like you're moving your thumb just like in a circle, and it doesn't track it well. And then it's just like, and then when you're like in a fight, you're like holding your phone like this and like tapping your commands. It never works. So if they were to do something completely touch, I think it would be off-putting. I don't want to just hold like an iPad. I mean, that's basically what it would be then. I don't want to just hold an iPad. I actually like the Switch. I like having a little Joy-Con controller in there. It feels really good. Like, it always feels great. And then you got your Pro Controller and shit like that. So I think they've got a good thing going. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a Pro Controller. I didn't get one yet. I might get one down the line if like a game comes out that really, I think, needs it. I actually didn't really like Mario Odyssey too much. I thought the controls were kind of wonky for me. I think it's because I was playing it on the handheld mode. I don't know. I just couldn't get a feel of it. I feel like that was something I probably would have enjoyed better if I had an actual controller.
Yeah, I mean, I think I played most of Odyssey using like the little peripheral thing that I think you get with the console, where it's like you slide the two controllers into it. Yeah, and it's like a little square controller shape. I used that and it was okay, but I've heard nothing but good things about the Pro controller. Like anybody that I know that has it says that it's great. It just feels better. Like it's very responsive. So.
And it's a similar design as the Xbox controller.
I mean, it just looks like every other controller. The triangle X, circle square, whatever you want to call it, is like, I think it actually is like a triangle X or a circle square. Like it's that kind of, it's like an X, Y, and then something else, and then it's just different placement of the stick. So it's essentially the same thing. If you use one controller, you use them all. I always thought that was like a really funny argument back on. I mean, even now, like 360 and Xbox One and PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. People would be like, oh, I have an Xbox and I can't play PlayStation. I just can't get a feel for the controller. It's the same fucking thing. The stick is, instead of it being like this, it's just this. It's not that dramatically different that you can't get used to it. I mean, it's just a mental thing. You're used to buttons being somewhere else. That's it.
I mean, I think you can easily say that the biggest, for me, I mean, that comes to mind, the biggest like, whoa, look, this controller, like this thing's fucking amazing, was probably the GameCube.
That was a weird controller. I mean, Nintendo, that's
people
why
loved it.
The N64. Yeah, I actually thought the GameCube controller like worked out really well. Like the C stick was really interesting, especially for games like when Wind Waker came out, having the C stick for shit. And that, I thought that was a really good controller. It's just their controllers always looked fucking weird. Like the N64 controller would never work now. No. And then, the GameCube controller was just fucking so bizarre looking, but it worked out really nice. And I think most people, especially people who play like competitively for Super Smash Brothers, they like always say the best way to play Smash Brothers is with like a wired GameCube controller. It's like the best way to play it.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day, or not the other day, literally like maybe a week or so ago, because I found my 64 in my basement. I think I'll even pull this out. And I was like, there's only one joystick, obviously. How did you look? Like, I forget how that controller actually worked.
I mean, if it was like, if you're playing Ocarina of Time, like you would, when you wanted to look, you'd have to stop moving, and then you'd have to press, I think it was down on the C, because there was just directions. It was just 4 directions. It wasn't the C stick. So you'd have to press you'd press down on the C, and then it would go into a first person view, and then you would move the stick to look around. Like that's how it was done. But then I always was crazy, because then I think like, how the fuck do we play games like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark,
exactly,
first person shooters with a single fucking stick? Like I can't remember playing it, but I just remember like knowing that it sort of worked back then. I just don't know how now. It didn't work well, but it still worked okay for the time.
And then I believe PlayStation came out with the first, double joystick with the DualShock.
Yeah,
I don't think there was anything before that.
No, they had just their regular controller, which just had the D-pad on it. Yep. And then when then they released the DualShock, and oh my God. And then, then it was like, oh, you can get this DualShock controller. And it was like, whoa, there's fucking 2 sticks, so I can do 2 things at one time. But then you could also press the little analog in the middle if you didn't want to use the sticks. You could turn it off and just use it like it was an original PlayStation.
Right, it was a button.
Yeah. In case people were like, oh my God, this is too much for me, I can just turn that shit off and just use the D-pad. And
damn, I forgot about that button. I remember watching my cousin play Cruisin' USA for 64. He was literally sitting on the couch, just one hand on the controller, and just had the joystick and the Z button on the back. I think it was a Z button, because that's all you did. This is accelerating, this controller. He literally just sit there like this. And I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, how old I was, 9 at the time, 8. Yeah, and he's like, I'm playing. I was like, you're only using one. Like, what? Like, what the hell? Like, how are you doing this? I thought it was like the coolest thing. So here I am going to try to do it, and I just fucking sucked at it.
Yeah. No, I don't understand it. It's like magic from back then. It just doesn't sound like it should work, but it sort of did.
You know what? It'll be interesting to see what Nintendo does next, needless to say. So. But once again, this is Why Am I Nerd presents Alphabet Gold Games. You can follow us on Instagram at Why Am I Nerd Official, Facebook.com/Why Am I Nerd, and listen to new episodes, I should say, every Monday on YouTube or your favorite podcast service. A bit of a shock that came out this week was Cuphead getting to PlayStation.
Totally random, and it was weird. Because like when I'm at work, I'm very infrequently able to check my phone, so it's often that I come back to it, and I've got just tons of notifications and messages, and I saw one of my friend Pete's message first, and he was like, not super dramatic news, but Cuphead's coming to PS4, and I'm like, that actually is kind of big news because I didn't think that was ever going to fucking happen. Yeah. And then it wasn't like, oh, it's coming to PS4. It's like, it's literally out as we're speaking on PS4. Like it came out that day. Like they just came out. And we're like, yep, here it is. Fucking go buy it. It's $20.
We were talking about that game 2 episodes ago about how we all wanted to play it. Me, you, and Alex, I think, had even said it. Mm-hmm. And the fact that now it's available on PlayStation kind of put the skew in my plans, because originally I was like, all right, I'm just going to get it for the Switch, be able to sit down on the couch, play it, and hopefully not throw the Switch across my room. But now it's like, okay, now I'm getting it for PlayStation, and now I just have to make sure I keep my phone off, away from me when I play hard games, because last phone I broke by smashing with the controller. So,
such a baby.
Fuck off. I will be playing this game at some point. It's just a matter of what I want to play it on now, because I do feel like I would enjoy it better for some reason as a handheld and on the Switch. Yeah. But I don't know, just by seeing obviously how well the game looks on Switch, I don't really see why I'd want to change my mind and play it on PlayStation.
I had, I guess maybe at one point was like, I might get it on the Switch, but whenever I have that choice of Switch or PlayStation, I just typically go with console, because it's just it's the one thing I'm kind of using all the time. And if I'm going to get something on the Switch, I really want it to be something that's, I guess you'd say, kind of exclusive. So like, I borrowed my friends. I don't think I mentioned it actually on here. So like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about it. Paper Mario. So a friend of mine had.
Briefly.
Did I? Okay, yeah. I can't remember if I had mentioned that, but like, a buddy of mine lent me a copy. He got 2 copies of the game. He bought it digital, but he also got like a physical collector's edition. He's like, well, it's just kind of sitting around, so if you want to take it. And I said, sure. It saves me the money in case I hate it, and I get to play it. But that's what I want to play on the Switch. Like, I want to play Paper Mario because clearly I can't play that anywhere else. But for something like Cuphead, if I'm going to be playing something like that, I kind of want to get trophies for it too. And I know I sent you the trophy list, and those trophies are fucking ridiculous. Those are some of the nastiest, most difficult looking trophies I think I've ever seen. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, you in the text, I was like, I'm surprised there's not one that says like, don't get hit, beat the game.
Yeah, well, that's why. Like, well, there is one trophy that I saw that like I mean, who knows? I've done weirder shit before, but I'm not saying I want to get 100% on it, but I wouldn't mind getting like just some trophies at least while I play through it, just collecting the usual just to play it. But there was one trophy where it was like, play through the entire game without killing anything. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Because I think when you get to the end of certain levels, you have to fight a boss. It's just like you get to the end, you fight a boss, and you have to kill the boss. So how do you just run out the clock or something? You just have to survive, and then the boss gets bored and runs away. Like I don't know, man.
So well, I mean, that's kind of like a Dishonored trophy if you think about it. Like Dishonored has that one trophy.
Yeah, but that makes more sense though, because that game gives you the choice. This is like an arcade style shooter. Like you can't. Yeah. You couldn't go through the Simpsons game without fucking killing every boss at the end of the stage.
Yeah, imagine turning around and seeing like the flood of people just like chasing you, be like the zombie.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't. I don't know. It's just, and I don't know enough about Cuphead to be just saying that there's no possible way, because I'm sure there's like the 4 people that listen to this show are probably like, no, we've all played Cuphead. You can definitely do it. And then I look like an idiot, but I just don't know enough about it to say for sure. But that trophy seems like that's really hard because you can't kill anything. So it's like you literally just have to have your hand on the stick. That's it. One stick. That's all you're doing. Or maybe jumping too. I don't know. Like that could potentially annoy the shit out of me, is not being able to kill something. Because if by accident you slip and you shoot your little water gun, you're fucked. You have to start all the way over again.
And the game does give you power-ups, like different weapons throughout I guess as you pick them up and collect them and whatnot. It seems. I know there's like certain obviously builds that people put, like there is a combo out there, whatever it is, I don't know, that people recommend playing the game. Obviously, if you're a newbie, which I would be, and I would probably do it. Does it make the game any easier? Probably not. Like realistically, it's just as difficult as it should be.
Yeah. No.
But it, I mean, the game looks great. It looks cool. The artwork is amazing. And, if someone has, obviously people have played it and beaten it plenty of times, and I'm sure someone's gonna go and run through this and get the 100% and get the platinum on it and brag about it. But we'll kind of see what happens.
People already got it, and I'm just looking through the trophies. Oh, I'm sure there's already somebody who's got it. No, I would not be surprised. But like, I'm just quickly looking through the trophies. But yeah, like complete all levels without killing an enemy, and then complete a level. Well, okay, complete a level without getting hit. That's not bad. One level without getting hit. That's pretty reasonable. Playing through the whole game without ever getting hit would be punishing. I don't know if I could do that. So okay, so maybe I could do this.
Yeah, right. Maybe get the fuck out of here. You're doing
okay, you want to make a bet? If I do, well, not that I have to complete it with any bit of time, but if I do this, you owe me breakfast.
Deal.
I know it's an easy
fucking fine. Like whatever.
I know. You do that anyway, like all the time.
Seriously, that's an easy one. You know, speaking of trophies, the one thing that I got to say that I have slowly became someone that enjoys collecting trophies in games. Some of them, okay, fine. They're obviously a little stupid and redundant, and especially like when they don't really tell you and you're like, oh, you have to do this. Like I remember there was a Ratchet and Clank trophy where like if you don't do it at the right time, it's like automatic. Like the thing doesn't it was like a crusher doesn't go up anymore, and you got to like play the game again. Yeah. I'm not big on trophies that require you to do 2 playthroughs because. Like why? Like let me be able to do this the first time around. Like I get it that you might want me to play a game again, but normally when I'm done with a game, unless it really like connects with me, I'm normally done with it. I'm like, all right, I'm probably not going to go back. But like I feel like for me, if I was able to complete the trophy list in a first run through, regardless, no matter what, I would probably take my time a little bit more. Like with Ghost of Tsushima, like I am taking my time with that game. Like this is like the slowest I've played a game in a really long time because I just don't want to. Miss a trophy, and I know that if I do to go back and play this game again, like I'm probably halfway through it. We'll talk about that a little later, but again, I'm only like halfway through the second act maybe, and I'm probably 25-30 hours in. So
I was gonna say I'm just double checking it right now, but I think we had gone over this previously. There are no missable trophies in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, but that's a game, like if you made me play it a second time, I probably wouldn't go into it.
Yeah, because it'd be tough because then having to get to the point where you found the thing that you missed, you'd either just have to make a beeline for that. It's like, yeah, I can understand that. Like that's kind of how,
Final Fantasy, what was the last one that came out? Not 7.
15.
There's a trophy at the end of that where you have to beat a specific boss on normal or higher, and obviously you can play the game on easy, which is what I play games on because I just like the story of it. And it's like, it's like one of those things where like if I got to that boss, now I know granted you can just you can bring the level to normal real quick and then drop it back down. Yeah. But like if I didn't know that, if I had to play that whole game part again, and it's towards the end of the game, whatever the boss would be, like that would suck. Like, oh my God, like I just now I gotta go 15, 20 more hours into it again just to get to it. I probably wouldn't do it. So, when it comes to trophies, like I do think it's cool. Like I do think that trophies should probably be more focused on like the skill of the game and less of collect all this shit, because like at sometimes it's just like in Ghost of Tsushima, one of the things, there's like 80 of them. I don't remember which one it is.
Oh, the Sashimono banners. Yes. Well, you don't have to find all those though. That's not one of the trophies.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe so. No, I've been playing like all morning, and that's why, no offense to the podcast, but this is interrupting my pursuit of the platinum trophy. I have so many trophies. But no, I don't think in terms of the collectibles, I think it's the easier ones. Like all you have to do is like find all the shrines. You just find all the like the hot springs and fox dens and shit like that. And then I think you have to get like 20 of the like the Mongol artifacts. But anytime you go into a camp, there's like always one, so you'll get them no problem.
And there's the crickets, the singing crickets.
Well, that's if you want to do. Is getting all the crickets one of them?
I'm not sure. I just know that's another collectible. But that's the other thing, like. With these collectibles, like, okay, the fox dens, if you're going to make me collect 20 of these things, Mongol artifacts to get like a trophy, why not just make me do them all? Like, why even put them in the game if it's not going to, do anything? Because I don't really know. I mean, the only thing that those flags do is you bring them to the monk guy in the one.
Yeah, and it gives you saddles for horses.
Yeah. So,
which is whatever.
Yeah. So, but that's just my opinion on trophies, and I just think that it'd be nice if you just made it a little bit more skill based and less like collect everything and Oh,
well,
yeah.
some of them are like that. Not all, sometimes, yeah.
I just don't like a double playthrough. But real quick, I got a bone to pick with PlayStation Gold or PlayStation Plus games that are free.
Why?
Because like I feel like, so just so everyone knows, free PlayStation Plus and Xbox games were released this week. So Xbox is getting Portal Knight and Override Mech City Brawler, and PlayStation's getting Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Fall Guys, which apparently is supposed to be some new type of
it's not even out yet to my knowledge, but it's like a multiplayer game that looks fun.
Rocket League, they're like
something like that.
That's what they're comparing it to. But like I don't know, like I feel like with these like games Gold or like the PlayStation Plus games, like you do 1 month where you give out like really good games, and then like the next like 3 months just like what is this? Like I kind of feel like obviously, us as gamers, we were spending all this money on your platforms regardless, like whether it's buying a controller or a game or a subscription for online. Like, I just kind of feel like, it would be nice to be given back a little bit, not better, but like, I guess better is the term I'd have to use. Like, give us a little something that like might be more enticing for everyone to kind of play. Like, I get it. Modern Warfare 2 is obviously a big game for everybody, but I don't know, like there's so many games that have come out over this past generation, obviously, and because you assuming that backwards compatibility on PlayStation is kind of weird and wonky. But like I just think there's so many games that they can be putting out, especially exclusives with the PlayStation 5 coming out soon. Like, why not give Horizon for free if they haven't already? I know they did Bloodborne a couple of years back. Why not do it again? Why not do the Uncharted stuff? Like, you have such a big catalog of stuff. Why give us like Fall Guys?
Well, that's because they have to. I think part of it is because, realistically too, if you get a year of PlayStation Plus, you're paying $5 a month for it. It's probably, it's really, you're not paying that much into it. $60 a year is really not bad. Granted, Nintendo's Switch Online is $20 a year, and they give you all of those fucking NES and SNES games. But that being said, $5 a month, like, most months I just go into PlayStation Plus. I hit the add to library button so that it's there, but I don't end up playing it. I'll go back and I'll play the Modern Warfare 2 campaign because I loved that game when I was fucking, how old is that game now? 10 years plus? Actually, it's probably even older than that. It's like 13 years old now. But they should give out better, games to draw more people in, because I feel like there are plenty of people that get their PlayStation 4s, they get their PlayStation Plus, and then they end up not playing a lot of these games, these first-party titles that are such a big deal, that Sony could benefit from just saying like, hey, here's this one free title of Horizon Zero Dawn. And then someone goes, wow, this is like a really good game that Sony, was their first-party title. What other games do they have? And then they go out and then they buy God of War. They go out and they buy The Last of Us 2, Like they get these bigger titles, but it's tough because you also have to you have to remember too, if you're just giving out a game, you kind of have to have an agreement with whatever studio is that made that game, because if they're not going to make any money on it, all these people, potentially millions of people are going to get this game for free, and that's potentially millions of dollars that you could have lost in sales. Granted, I'm sure Sony's like, we're going to kind of like pay you so that you can do this and not like completely lose money, but I don't know. I think for the most part, we get some decent games, but then there are definitely some months with some serious stinkers, and it goes like, just what the fuck? Like, what were you guys thinking? Like, there was one a couple months ago, I think like in April or something, and they were just fucking so bad that I remember everybody I know was freaking out. Like, this is like the worst month PS Plus has ever had.
Yeah, and they dropped the game. Remember they used to give out 3 when they had the PlayStation, for PS3, the Vita. They were giving out a Vita game.
Yeah, it was the PlayStation 3 and the Vita, and then they said, I think that was last year-ish they made that decision, or maybe 2 years ago, where they were like, we're only going to do PS4 games now. And that was okay. And then once PlayStation 5 comes out, I'm sure it's going to be, actually, once PS5 comes out, it's going to only be PS4. And then it's going to be like digital games, because there's no way that PS5 is going to come out and they're going to be like 2 months into the release and they're going to go, all right, this month's free game is Miles Morales. They're not going to do that. It's going to have to be like digital indie shit to get some free PS, Plus games.
Yeah. I think that like you said before, they do really well. They give really good stuff out. And then some weeks some months it's just like a stinker, like you said. But again, especially with it being so close to PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox Series X coming out, like I thought that, obviously wrong, these guys would be pushing and pushing and pushing their exclusive and kind of top-notch games to be released. Like, hey, we're going to get everyone to play these things now, and then kind of maybe switch them and sway them towards our side. Because I would say that, yeah, you have either the people that love Xbox and then you have the people that love PlayStation, but you also have the people in the middle that are kind of like, yeah, I just kind of get whatever game attracts me the most. So right now it's kind of that crucial time where, to kind of get that fan base to kind of sway over to you. And, the fact that they just didn't execute that this month, granted, they have probably, you can say, September and October still to pull something off. I would hope that one of them will pull the trigger and do something crazy in September and October. Like, here's like, you imagine if like PlayStation's like, here's, for October, you're getting God of War, Horizon, and fucking like, I mean,
that would
Uncharted
be
for free.
Well, they already did Uncharted. They did Uncharted 4 a couple months ago.
Did they? I know they did the Legacy Collection or whatever the hell it was called at one point. But like, if you did God of War for free in October and be like, hey, and guess what's coming out in next month is PlayStation 5. Like, I mean, that would be. Do I think that ultimately be the mic drop? Not necessarily, but that's definitely a huge win towards Sony, I would say.
Yeah, they've actually, I'm just like looking at what they've done so far this year, and it's honestly, it hasn't been bad. I think the worst month might have been May. So back in January, they did the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection and Goat Simulator, which I know Goat Simulator is like super popular. People love that shit. February, they did BioShock the collection, The Sims 4, and Firewall Zero Hour. March, they did Shadow of the Colossus and Sonic Forces. April, they did Uncharted 4 and Dirt Rally 2.0. May was the not so good one where they did City Skylines and Farming Simulator 19. That's a crap one. June, they did Call of Duty World War II and Star Wars Battlefront 2. And then July, so maybe July wasn't so good either. Rise of the Tomb Raider and NBA 2K20. So last month was kind of weak. By comparison, this is slightly better, but they gotta come out on an upswing for September then.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. we'll see. Only was it 30 days away, or another month away, or whatever the hell it is. The other thing that they kind of announced this week, or I don't really know if they necessarily announced it or they kind of just gave more feedback on, was this Analogue Pocket thing.
Yeah, I sent you that.
Yeah, which is essentially a way for everybody to kind of play. Oops, let me pull this over here. Game Boy games. It's literally
and other consoles too. I think it was Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Neo Geo, and something else. It's like all the portable cart based shit. I mean, even possibly, actually, no, probably not Game Gear, but definitely Game Boy, all the Game Boy series, and then I'm pretty sure I heard Neo Geo on that article too. But it looks fucking sweet, man. Like I would definitely get this thing.
So, Analogue will launch a series of accessories, including screen protectors, a hard case, and all important cartridge adapters to allow Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, and Atari Lynx games to be played on the console.
Okay.
Yeah, it pretty much looks like a Game Boy.
It looks like a Game Boy, like a Game Boy Color. Yeah, Game Boy Color.
It has a Switch adapter on it.
Oh, sweet.
Which, whatever the hell that means. Let's see if I can find where I just read it. The Pocket's dock, which works akin to a Switch dock for HDMI out to TV functionality.
So it's like just sliding your Switch into the dock so that it pops up on your TV. So then if you plug and play, you can do it. You can play fucking the original Link's Awakening on your TV. Yeah, it supports up to 4 controllers via Bluetooth, 2.4G, whatever that means, and USB. So, I mean, it looks cool. Depending on the pricing of it, I don't really see if it says anything yet on. I thought I heard that it was going to be like $120 or something like that, which just based on like what it looks like visually, it looks really cool. Like it just looks like a very futuristic Game Boy Color. But it's like the screen is like, it's like, and then the LCD is just, it's like a really nice, like the resolution's like 1440 by like 800 or something like that. I can't remember what the resolution was, but it's gonna but they said game everything's gonna look really good on it. So I hope it comes out and I hope it does well, because as long as it is worth the money, I will probably end up getting that, because I still have tons of old Game Boy cartridges lying around, but I might have to take them to Kill Screen and just get the batteries replaced in the carts so that they work.
Yeah, they shout out to those guys. They're in Asbury.
Yep, right? In the shops at the arcade on Cookman Avenue in Asbury Park, New Jersey. They sell all sorts of old retro games and even new stuff. They just sell pretty much any generation of games. But if you take your old old cartridges there that are where the batteries in them have died, they'll actually they can crack the case open, pop in a new battery, and send you on your way so you can play your Pokemon again.
Yeah. And apparently you can also connect this thing to looks like Pro Tools, and you can use it as a stomp pad, which is strange, but sure, whatever. I guess you're trying to get into the music market as well. Cool. I mean, this will definitely be interesting. I think this thing, if it sells well, will be huge for like retro style video game sellers. It's like we said, like the Killswitch Games or like JB Games in Neptune. There's a place or Ocean Township, I think they are. They have a bunch of old school, obviously Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games, and so on and so forth. I haven't really seen many people be selling Game Gear games. I actually found my Game Gear in my basement, and god damn, that thing is big, and damn, that thing takes a lot of batteries.
I was gonna say, I think that fucker took 8 batteries.
Yeah, I think it's either 8 or 6. It's either 4 or 3 and 3, obviously. And that the thing with that damn thing is it only lasted like an hour.
Yeah, it died. It was so weird. That thing sucked up. I remember having my cousin had one of those as a kid, and like he had that, I had the Game Boy, and it was always so fucking crazy how I love him to death, but he was like, this thing is so superior to the Game Boy, and I was like, it's really not. Like it was much more vibrant because it had a color screen. So compared to the original Game Boy, it was like, oh shit, like playing Sonic the Hedgehog, I was like, whoa, this is really fucking cool. But the fact that you blow through batteries, it's just so not sustainable. And then I have my Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color, whatever, and batteries would last a pretty fucking solid amount of time before I'd have to swap them out. Yeah. I distinctly remember going through lots of batteries because that was my thing as a kid. I loved consoles, but I took my fucking Game Boy everywhere with me. So it's always that and a big pack of batteries. So, and
the other thing too with the Game Gear was it was this big. And the screen was like that.
This big.
It was this much was the freaking
the screen was easily the same size as it was maybe slightly bigger than a Game Boy screen.
Yeah,
the fucking thing was huge.
And you know what I think? I really believe that they were trying to say hey, this is Sega on the go. And they just didn't they didn't port over really many of the I think the biggest game for Game Gear was Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
What the fuck is that? I don't even know what that is. I just remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or whatever was on there and being
it was Sonic's version of Tetris. It was the exact same thing as Tetris. I mean, they had
Ninja so it's Dr. Mario or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. This was Dr. Robotnik. So I actually have one downstairs. Like I said, maybe I'll show it, take a picture of it, and open it on the Instagram. Throwback. But I think this Game Boy thing can help out a lot of businesses as well, and hopefully it does its thing, and I look forward to seeing more about it. Will I get one right away? Probably not, but
no, I will wait till it comes out and people start talking about it, and if people are if you're looking to get just some retro portable gaming, then I would definitely do it. That would be something I would splurge on, to have that nice little bit of nostalgia, because the Game Boy defines my childhood. I had every fucking Game Boy that ever existed. I had the original gray brick all the way up through, I think the only one, I'll say this, the only Game Boy I didn't have was the Game Boy Micro, which was literally this fucking big, and it was just big enough to fit Game Boy Advance cartridges in it. But I had everything from the original gray brick all the way up to the SP, which was the clamshell flip open one.
I have in the other room.
Oh my god, that seriously, that defines my childhood above all consoles and handhelds, is the Game Boy. That was my shit.
So you won't be getting the little Game Gear things that are coming out next year, I think, or this year. You hear about those? It's like there's like 4 of them getting released. They're like the size of this mouse, and apparently each Game Gear has like 4 games installed on it.
No, I'd rather get this new thing and then just go and buy cards.
Get the adapter.
Like that. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. So, but keep an eye out for that. So, but until we get into our Ghost of Tsushima talk, let's take a quick word from our sponsor.
Why Am I a Nerd podcast network has been brought to you by our sponsor, Me Moms. The best breakfast and lunch down the Jersey Shore with 3 great locations in Wall Township, Middletown, and Brick, New Jersey. Me Moms specializes in unique and fun takes on your traditional lunch and breakfast items. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can find more information at www.memoms.com.
All right, we're back.
Oh wow, we're back. Whoa, that was such a good ad read. Wow.
I know.
How do you get that? How do you get them to support us like this?
I know the owner.
Great, awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool guy here.
Sometime. Yeah.
They're cool people. So, but anywho, so we're gonna go ahead and because I guess we said earlier, we had to do a little bit of a change up. Matt and I have been playing Ghost of Tsushima. We are going to finish this, day off with talking about that game, which we will probably spoil some stuff in it. So, if you don't, too much. Yeah, if you don't want to risk getting spoiled by any slip ups that we may or may not say, feel free to turn us off now. Otherwise,
we'll catch you next week.
yeah. So there you go. All right, until next time. But anyway, so Matt, here we go.
Yeah.
So again, I'm only probably about halfway through Act 2. I've probably about 25, 30 hours in, just by running around and taking my time. It was funny because I was listening to a podcast today, Game Scoop, over my GN, and somebody wrote into him saying that one of the problems I had with the game was now I'm going to botch this word because I don't even know what the right word is.
Let me see if I can pronounce it after you fuck it up.
No, it's I know what the word is. I just don't know how to say it right. It's the lack of embottlement,
embattlement?
Like limbs getting cut off.
Oh, dismemberment.
Oh, there you go.
Not even close. Holy shit.
There's the preview content for the week.
Whoever's saying there's no dismemberment, I think they're full of shit because you might not have gotten there yet, but you can cut people's fucking heads off.
Look, I don't know what you got. I mean, are you referencing the one Mystic move you get?
No. So you eventually you get hold on. You get a 5th stance. Sorry, 5. I was going like this.
I'm not there yet. Is that the ghost? Is that the ghost stance?
The ghost stance, and it is essentially a stance. It's not really spoiling too much for you. Think of it like God of War, Spartan Rage.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go a certain amount of attacks and kills or whatever without being hit, or you have to find a leader within a camp, and literally you'll see instead of it saying assassinate, it says slaughter, and he'll jump down behind them and literally just cut their head off. And then the screen goes, when you go to ghost mode, the screen goes black and white. And then you get three swings, and you can the first 3 people as soon as you swing, it's an instant kill. And it scares the shit out of everybody else, and they go scattering. But you cut the general's head off.
So it's like in Kill Bill Volume 1 when it goes into black and white when she fights in the dojo.
Yeah, it literally it's oh my god, it's people are oh, and then you just start attacking them, and then they just start dropping their swords and spears, and they fucking flee because they're just terrified that you cut the general's head right off. Granted, that would be decapitation, not dismemberment, but whatever, fine line.
It is funny you say that because they did mention that in the podcast. They were like, you cut the general's head off at some point. I was like, what? I was like, I've never cut anyone's head off. I was like, and then they say when you do the one move, it's the L1 R1 move. It slows down time. He targets 3 people.
Yeah.
Apparently they say that if he hits you, their hand goes flying off. I haven't seen that either, but
I've seen limbs coming off. I don't know what the fuck people are talking about. I think for the most part you're just slashing them, but I think you kind of have to. It just has to be the timing's got to be right with how you're swinging and connecting. But I've seen people lose not legs, but arms and shit, arms and heads. I've seen come off. Even in explosions too. I mean, there's explosives in this game. I mean, I've seen it, so I don't know what they're talking about. But heads definitely come off. So that's for sure.
Have you so I've been using the Traveler.
It's the only thing I wear. Yeah,
the entire time, which is weird because there is on the perk list one of the things that you can learn is, you ever see at the first page I have like the exploration. I don't understand what the point of those are, because when you're wearing the traveler's attire, the wind guides you anyway if you set it. So I don't understand why those.
No, so that's if if you're just out in the field and you're kind of near something. If you swipe the wind, it'll blow in the general direction of one of those things if you have that ability. But you know. Honestly, I just fucking ride around. Like, I'll find it one way or the other. As the map starts opening up and the fog of war goes away, I can see where everything is. I don't need the wind. I mean, I guess it's if you really just want to like not use the map ever, but you're still using the wind to find your shit. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just using skill points to fill in that shit because I have points to spend. So
yeah, I don't know now. So you obviously got the ghost dance, which does that you are the ghost now. You're officially
I'm in Act 3. I would say, honest to God, I could probably beat the story today if I wanted to.
So did you get the ghost ranking yet?
No, I don't think I'm there yet.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, like, I wonder if this game does it run out of skill points? Is I guess
I don't know, man. I think I've only got just a couple more things that I got to purchase. Like, I think I don't think you can run out of it. I think you can literally, I'm going to have everything skill pointed up, like an acquired. So, yeah, I don't think that's a problem.
I do think it's funny that the traveler attire has kind of been what I've seen most people wear, because I think it's the coolest one. I mean, look, the samurai stuff is cool and I get it. Like, no knock to that, but I don't know. There's something about just like walking around with like your cape blowing and freaking.
I love it.
Having my headband on and my little stupid mask that I got, and it's cool. I mean, I definitely think that the transition from the first act to the second act was kind of what I expected, in a sense of like, okay, we did this. This guy just runs away and we're chasing him again. So, how the second act plays out, obviously, I haven't gotten there yet. I will say that, like I said before, the game is visually stunning.
Yeah.
Some easily. Of the, I've said that I've had my fair share of, like Alex kind of said, no game is perfect, I believe. And I agree with that. There's definitely some things that I kind of wish were just done a little better, in a sense of, like, when you're fighting on the horse, like, you get hit once, you just go flying off. Like, it's like,
you get taken straight. Even if you get hit by an arrow, it's like you're getting hit with a fucking train and you come like flying off of your horse.
Yeah, so in a sense of like battling on my horse, like, there's been times where I've seen guys like, I'm gonna roll in here, I'm gonna do some cool ass like horse shit, and nope, it's just like one flick and it's like, all right, the horse runs away and you're like, all right, here we go.
I ride in, and if I see people, the most dramatic thing I'll do is where you're on horseback and you jump off to do a critical strike. Like, that's how I'll like set the tone. I don't try to like fight on horseback. Yeah, I don't try to fight on horseback because it's fucking pointless. You can just get murked right off your horse.
Some of the I did think, though, again, I'm only on midway through, I thought the shrines in the first act were better than the shrines in the second act.
Because you don't like exploring as much.
No, I actually think the opposite. I thought the first act shrines were a little more puzzly than the second act ones.
Oh man, there are some ones that you haven't seen that take some serious platforming and navigation to get through.
Because I found 3 or 4 in the second act so far, and I was like, this is just like, I feel like I could just beeline into the, like, I felt like it was a lot less.
Some of them, not all of them. There was one today that I was progressing through it, and I'm like basically climbing a fucking mountain, and then I got to a point and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I'm back at the beginning, and I was like, what did I miss? And then I had to run through it again to get to a point, and I was like, oh shit, I went this way, I needed to go this way. But like, no, a lot of them require, like, later on, as you start getting into like the more mountainous areas, require a lot of like platforming and thought. So
I do think it's a unique, I've said this before too, I think it's unique that they literally only give you the one sword. I mean, you can, so if you're, if anyone hasn't played this game or heard of it, if you're going to go in there and be like, oh, I'm going to get a spear, I'm going to get an axe. Nope. This is not Neo. I will tell you that. No. You're not getting any of that. You're getting a katana and that's it. And your little dagger thing. You get a bow, you get 2 bows, you get a short bow and a long bow. You get some sticky bombs, which I actually use a lot. I like throwing them and watching people blow up. The actual like grenade that you can get when you switch between the bow or the grenade, I never use that thing because I feel like it
fucking
doesn't.
Hate it.
It's not done very well.
There's one thing you need to get. I think it only applies to the sticky bomb though. I don't know if it applies to the regular bomb. But like if you throw it and you're still too close to it, like you're all like you're all concussed and shit. And then by time you come out of the concussed state, everybody else is out of it, and then it was fucking pointless. Like I want to stun people, and then I know that's the point of the thing is to hurt them and then stun them, but like shit. I think my favorite thing is just the kunais, the little daggers that you throw. Like I carry so many of those and just toss them, break people's shields, and then kill them before they can like throw their shields up and shit. So that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, then you also get I use this a lot as well. You have the 4 stances that you get after probably midway through the second act, probably into the second act. I had probably all 4. So one is for swords, one's for shields, one's for spears, and one's for like brutes, I guess you can say. Which the brutes, the brutes are kind of sometimes kind of weird to tell who the hell's a brute and who's like a spear guy because sometimes they look the same. But
wait till you get to the third act.
Great. But
there's dudes who wear like full suits of armor, like the craziest, most like ostentatious suits of armor, and you look at them and you're like, I don't know if this is a brute or not because they look exactly the same as they should. Like, because then the brutes start wearing like full suits of armor instead of just being like big dudes with clubs and diapers. But then they all start like eventually wearing crazy suits of armor. But that's actually my favorite stance is the moon stance. For the brutes. Like,
really? I was actually
he's just holding the sword up above his head. He's like,
yeah, but the high, like the heavy attack for that move sucks. He just like
kick?
It doesn't do anything.
You fucking kick the shit out of those fat assholes and then it breaks them and they go down like a ton of shit.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Listen, the stances of breaking anybody's like block or whatever, breaking them so that you can attack them. That's just the best thing isn't even that. It's just parrying at the right time so that there's eventually a skill you can get to where when you parry perfectly, you have the potential to scare the shit out of everybody around you to the point where they drop their shit and they fall on their asses and you can just run up to them and stab them. Like we got
that pretty early on.
Yeah.
I will say too, I mean, I know that they announced last week that they're adding that new difficulty mode, which kind of makes me feel like it might be similar to like a Neo type thing.
Maybe.
I mean, I won't be fucking with that. I'll tell you that.
I would say I'll probably have this game platinum by this time next week. Would be my guess.
I will probably not, but I will be not far behind. I hope.
Yeah.
I will say this game again. I didn't play Sekiro, but it seems like this is a little more like Sekiro than Neo. Quote me if you would know better than me. You've played them both.
In terms of the combat, yeah. Because, I mean, in Neo, if you really want to, you could just fuck somebody up. You could just charge full steam at them. And, I mean, you can kind of do that in this game, but it really wants you to pay attention to the combat and focus on blocking and parrying at the right time. It's like nothing's better than getting that perfect parry and it immediately breaks the person's stance, and then I hit them once and they're almost dead, and then I just follow up and then they just drop. Like that's the point of Sekiro too, is like you wanna hit blocks and parries at the right time, because then in that game it whittles down their stamina and then leaves them open, and then you can basically just kill them in one shot. So it's like you don't even have to wildly swing your sword. You tire them out and then you fucking kill them. That's why I love the combat of that game, because it requires patience over anything.
Yeah, they do a good job with this game with like the blue. It'll flick blue when you can get like a perfect block, and then the orange, which will flash, which means dodge. You can't block it. I still find myself like missing that every now and then, or I'll find myself dodging the wrong way. Like the brute guys, they'll swing like 3 times, so I'll dodge once and I get like thrown across the freaking screen. But I do again. I can't say more positive things about this game right now. Again, I said last week it could outdo The Last of Us for me, but I was thinking about it. I was thinking about this morning. I was like, is Ghost of Tsushima like, why am I enjoying it better than I enjoyed The Last of Us? Like, I almost feel like The Last of Us, I was like, I just needed to know what happened. And I had so much anxiety playing that game that I was like, beeline, get to the next plot point, get the next plot point, get the next plot point, where I wasn't like taking my time to like really set in what the fuck was going on. I was like, nonstop anxiety, sat and played it freaking 7 hours a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just to beat it by Monday. When this game, I'm like, all right, I didn't play it today. Cool, I'll pick it up tomorrow and I will, continue where I left off. And I'm cool with that. I'm good. I'm taking my time. So in a sense of how the game has made me feel, Last of Us gave me nothing but anxiety. And this game has kind of given me nothing but like, all right, I'm just trucking around, killing some people and moving on. Next thing I know, I look at the clock and it's 3 hours later. I'm like, damn, that was, so I don't know. Do I think it has a chance to be in Game of the Year? Unfortunately not. I don't think that it's even been in conversation, and I think it deserves to be in conversation, but I don't think it would even come close to it. I mean, you have games like Final Fantasy VII, which people still say are the Game of the Year, which I don't understand how.
I'll be honest, anybody that's really, and that's, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I think Ghost of Tsushima will be nominated. Do I think it will win? Probably not. But I do not think Final Fantasy VII is the Game of the Year. I think most of the people that are screaming from the mountaintops that game needs to be Game of the Year are the people who are just so far up in their ass about Final Fantasy VII as a whole that they just, no, that's not why. That game had so many issues. It's the start of something better. Future games could potentially get Game of the Year, but this one does not deserve Game of the Year. There were a lot of fucking problems with that game.
Well, the best is, before we wrap up, just so everybody knows, we actually had something going that we were going to do where we came up. Well, we're not going to do it now, but we're going to do, hopefully next week. We need a third guy because there will be debate on this, where we've pulled together every single game that has a 10, which is masterpiece rating on IGN and GameSpot. And some of the games that each of them gave 10 to, and some of the guys that didn't give it 10 to, I was kind of very, very, very surprised by. So I did find, so what we're going to do is I found a random bracket emulator. So we're not going to rank, again, these are all 10s. They're all essentially perfect games. So they're just going to be thrown into a random bracket, randomly seeded, and it'll be interesting to see who comes up, against who.
That could potentially be easy though, because that could make a lot of simple decisions. Because if you've got like the Witcher 3 up against like
The Witness,
exactly.
Right,
yeah, exactly. Like The Witness was cool. It was I remember that game. I really liked it, but that is not a game that I would say, man, The Witcher by comparison was garbage compared to The Witness. Like The Witness had a lot of cool ideas and was very weird. It was like Lost, but a fucking video game. I felt like, but. No, like I would say, definitely The Witcher for sure. But there will be some easy decisions, and then there are going to be some ones that are going to really fuck with us. So.
Well, the best is that to get the bracket to work, 2 of the games actually have to fight each other just to get in. So I was like, God, imagine if just to get into the bracket it ends up being like The Last of Us 2 and then God of War.
I could say no question right now, it would be God of War for me.
I would agree. But it would be like that type of thing. So just so everybody knows real quick what the games will be on our list, which we're hopefully doing. I'm just going to go through it real quick. That way you guys can all think about it. And we did pretty much from 1998 on, and games that were not handheld. And this is just from IGN and GameSpot. So from IGN, which I'm going to go by what IGN gave first, 10s, what GameSpot gave 10s, and what they both gave 10s. So for IGN, you had God of War for PS4, The Last of Us Part 2, GTA 5, Half-Life Alyx, Red Dead Undead Nightmare, Pac-Man Championship Edition DX, Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception, Zelda Skyward Sword, The Witness, Inside, Undertale, Celeste, Red Dead 2. That's IGN's only that they just gave. The ones that just GameSpot gave was Rainbow Six Siege, Final Fantasy VII, Disco Elysium, Super Mario Odyssey, Divinity Original Sin 2, Uncharted 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, Journey, The Witcher 3, Bayonetta 2, Tony Hawk 3, and Chrono Cross. And then
what?
And then
Chrono Cross is shit.
And then the games that they both agreed on that were 10s were Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Persona Royale, Metal Gear Solid 4.
Royal. It's not a Royale with cheese.
Royal. Metal Gear Solid 4, GTA 4, Soul Calibur, and Ocarina of Time. So I gotta say, I don't know why God of War, Last of Us, and Last of Us Part 2 were not 10s on GameSpot scale. I don't understand how.
Dude, some of these games are apocryphal. Like, I'm sorry, Chrono Cross was not a fucking 10. Chrono Trigger is a fucking 10.
Well,
Chrono Cross is not a 10.
I thought The Witcher 3 got a 10 from IGN, but I guess not.
Not. I mean
it'll.
Dude.
So I think that this could potentially be really funny to figure out who gets
very
the goal.
Divisive too. Yeah.
I can respectfully and say that out of these 33, I think it's 34 games here, I have probably played 27, 28 of them. There's probably 4 of them on here that I've never dipped into that I will kind of have to just do some research on and maybe just base it on a nostalgia standpoint. But I think it's going to be fun. So that is the list. And like I said, if anyone wants to chime in and join in, you can send us, a message over on Instagram. And once again, you can find us on Instagram at YMINerdOfficial, Facebook.com/YMINerd, and listen to new episodes every Monday on YouTube and your favorite podcast service. So, without further ado, I'm Cameron James. As always, just Matt. Until next time, we're out.
Later, people.